Hello, world. Hello, hello, hello. Happy holidays, everybody. It's good to see everyone. Well, I don't get to see you on this until you comment, I guess. But happy to be here. Um, wow, just had a really cool conversation, and I had a really cool conversation before, which actually made me want to go live. Um, And so there's about 10 million things going through my head right about now. How does it get even better than that? So my name is Rachel Silber. I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, among other things as well. And I wanted to speak a little bit about allowance. So on my Instagram channel, on my Facebook group, I asked for us to play with being interesting point of view, being the energy of allowance, especially during these holidays. A few days ago, I got inspired by a friend and then thought, that would be cool. What if we did allow everything to be an interesting point of view, especially all those things that we're so highly aware of? So during the holidays, we tend to really pick up on a lot of angst. We pick up on a lot of points of view. We pick up on a lot of the crazy that everybody seems to be functioning from. But that's a really cool thing when we realize that we're picking up on it, when we realize that it's something that we're aware of, we're not victim to it. We don't have to be that thing that responds to everything that we become aware of. So actually, as I'm speaking, there are different little things that are landing in my awareness and my universe. See, it takes speaking sometimes to have the things fall in place. So the actual challenge was actually not an interesting point of view. It was, who does this belong to? But to me, the energy of who does this belong to, which is one of the most phenomenal tools that we have in Access Consciousness, is so intertwined with being an interesting point of view. Whenever we're aware of something, whenever we often don't even think that we're aware of it. We assume that that's something, that requirement is something that we have to, hi Juan, that we have to respond to, that we have to do something about. Okay. The really cool thing is that we could be aware of something without having to make it relevant in our lives. Imagine how much more space and more ease and more relaxed your life could be if you weren't this push button system for everybody else's stuff. So every time you're aware of something, ding, I have to do this. And you're aware of something else and bonk, I have to do that. And you're aware of something else and, oh, I'm depressed. And aware of something else and, try to resolve it. How much of your day is spent dealing with and responding to things that aren't even yours? Thoughts that aren't yours, emotions that aren't yours, even physical intensities that aren't yours. So this is where the tool, who does this belong to? And there is a free app for that. I will have to find where. If you go on the Google Play shop or the Apple shop, Apple Play, whatever those shops are called, whether via Apple or Android, there are, look up who does this belong to, Access Consciousness, and there's a free app. And you can set it to remind you to ask this question, who does this belong to? Why is this such a phenomenal tool? Or actually, the more recent version that Dr. Dane's been using is, who the fuck does this belong to? Because you know what? 99.99999% of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything that you're perceiving and you think is you, is actually not. It's a point of view, and it's generally something outside of you. That you, being such an antenna, an awareness of awareness unit, such highly tuned to be able to pick up everything that's around you. My daughter tattooed my hand with eyeliner. Yeah, it's going to wash off eventually, but it's kind of cool. Um, so all of this stuff that's around, we perceive. I have cats. I love cats. And, you see them with the cat's whiskers. They're picking up information about everything that's going on around them. Our bodies are just like that. They give us information about what's around. So we might walk into a place. It happens to me a lot when I go into a mall. I suddenly get a headache, or I suddenly get all stressed out. Because there's at least one or two stressed out people over there. Right? How many people are you picking up on that may not even be in your immediate surroundings, but significantly further away, that you don't even realize that you're picking up on? And the thing that I love about interesting point of view and why the two tools flow together so much, wow, that's curious that I feel like I have to do something about this. Well, what if I didn't? That would definitely take the weight off. That would take the angst off. If I didn't have to do anything with the information that I'm getting from the outside world, it's information. If it's relevant for me at a specific point, if there's something that I can do that, it's contributing for me to have information about something to create something greater, awesome. And if not, what if I were willing to let it go? What if there's nothing involved in having to get anything right or anything wrong? Just information. It's just information. And knowing that it's information, I can release it. Knowing it's information, it doesn't mean anything about me, whether it's even a physical intensity. I'll give you an example. First time that I really saw this tool in action, like in a very intense way, I was in Times Square. This was pre-COVID. This was like 7 years ago. In Times Square, pre-corona days, packed with people. New York City, all these tourists, all these people wearing, I don't know, Hello Kitty and other costumes for people to take photos with them. Right? And here I was with my husband and the two kids, and we're going from the Disney shop where we were hanging out, and they were looking at all the costumes and clothes and everything. And we're going to go to the Toys R Us shop where there was a huge Ferris wheel. And the kids ran out, and my husband went out with them quickly. And I walked out of the Disney shop and had to hold on to one of those. They had those things that they use when I forgot, they're like little poles and platforms and things when they're washing windows or when they're fixing the facade of a building. So they have this structure outside of it. So they had one of those. Thankfully, I grabbed onto it because I literally took a step out of the shop and could not take another step. There was this stabbing pain in my ankle, but it wasn't mine. And the first second it was intense. I grabbed the pole and I held on to it. And then I have a choice here. This is what's really cool. You have a choice in every moment. I had a choice to go, oh my God, my ankle really hurts. I have to call for help. Or I had the choice of nothing physically happened. I did not twist my ankle or anything stepping out of the Disney store. It was just suddenly very, very intense. So I, first of all, holding on to the pole, I asked my body, what is this? What are you aware of? Now, if it's information and it's out there somewhere, whether it's a thought, feeling, emotion, or physical intensity, it's information for you that you could use in any way you like or not. So I thanked my body for the information. And I said, this isn't ours. Return to sender with consciousness attached. This isn't even ours. Okay? Not connected, not relevant, nothing that I have to do anything with. And I even told my body, thank you for the information. If it may be somebody else's body that's out there, if they require me, let them find me. I get that this may be going on in their body, but it isn't ours. Time to let it go. interesting point of view that you may have nominated yourself the fixer of the universe and everyone in it. What if you didn't have to do that? What if your willingness to be beyond the intensity, beyond the sadness, beyond the thoughts, beyond the stress, beyond all of that, would gift the world and you freedom? Freedom to choose something different. And that's the gift of allowance and the gift of space. Is when I did that, my body released whatever it was. It was just giving me information. I got the information. There was somebody somewhere on the other side of Times Square with a huge pain in their ankle. I got the information. After about 3 or 4 times of asking, who does this belong to? Return to sender. This isn't ours. Thank you, body. It stopped just as suddenly as it came. And I was able to walk over and join my family at the other shop, at the Toys R Us shop. We're not at the effect of everything that we perceive. We are not, I'm going to repeat that, the effect of everything we perceive. Just because we perceive it doesn't mean that we are it. Just because we're aware of something does not mean we have to do anything about it. And this is where allowance comes in. Everyone has a choice. So what choice are we not allowing other people by trying to fix everything that's going on in their world? Everything that is, and everywhere we're superior bitching the world into, I'm going to take care of it and make it all better. Would you destroy and uncreate that, please? And this is where the clearing statement from Access Consciousness comes in, and you can find it. I'm sure I have it here. Thestatement.com. You can get lots of information about the clearing statement, and it is right and wrong, good and bad, bud and puck, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Whenever you are willing to let go of a point of view, saying those words after really is like a reset, like a wipe out of whatever was before. So what if you allow yourself to not have to fix, to maintain, to take care of every single thing that you perceive? It's information, and it is your choice what you'd like to do with it. This is another thing where space comes in. And I love this. And sorry, this is like a bombardment of a whole bunch of tools real fast, but I was in several conversations, one right after the other. Maybe I should have taken like a little bit of a breather, but I had run over a bit with the previous call. And so the space is happening as we're speaking. The spaciousness is something that allows us to become aware of far more than what we think we're aware of right now. I was in a conversation last night with, okay, so 10 thoughts all at the same time. I'm a bit of a mix of ADD, ADHD, OCD, autism, whatever you want to call it, all rolled into one. And tonight, we're doing the last chapter in this phenomenal book called Beyond the Utopian Ideals in a book club that I'm a part of. And one of the things that Gary Douglas invites us to, because this is an Access Consciousness book written by Gary Douglas, one of the things that he invites us to do is called a meditation walk. And I love the meditation walk. You pick a small area. It could even be your balcony. It could be, I'm on the balcony right now. It could be like, like 100 meter, 100 feet. 100 feet probably of space. So a relatively small space. There's no having to get anywhere. There's no target of I'll get there and then I know I'll have accomplished something and I have a value because I've gotten there and look at what I just did. It's literally allowing yourself to have the time, the space, relaxation and the ease with you and the presence with you and everything that's around you. No phone to be distracted by, nothing that's pinging, no holding a book and, well, let me just sit down and read and then I just get distracted by that. It's actually no distractions. Where do you go when someone says, let's do something like this? Do you say, oh no, I could never do that? Oh, why are they asking me to do this? Oh, that's just too difficult? Or do you say, well, I wonder what this can create? I wonder what could be available here. I wonder what I could notice beyond what I've noticed so far. And I wonder what's available that I've never even imagined was available beforehand. Where do you go with that? So, what I've found when I've done the meditation walks in the past is that the first few minutes, my brain is still running. I don't know if you guys have ever meditated, but that's one of the things. Brain's going, brain's going, brain's going. And with all of that movement and all of that, it takes a little bit to begin to go within, to be present, and to notice, to be that relaxed space of being. Oh, in this world, we tend to do and do and do rather than allow ourselves to be. And what if that meditation walk, undistracted, small area, not, oh, let's go for a walk around the neighborhood, but just a familiar place. There's no, oh my goodness, we're going to do this thing and go on an adventure. It's, I'm going in to meet me, to have the space of being, the space of possibility, of what I could notice that I've never noticed before. So last night, going back and weaving several conversations together, we're on a conversation with my mom and with my husband and my daughter, and we're talking about different things. And as we're talking about something that my mom has deemed a quote unquote problem, something that has to be resolved, my daughter had her phone handy and she was showing us pictures of this beautiful artist who makes the most phenomenal ball gowns, for lack of a better word, absolutely phenomenal. And she's showing on TikTok how she makes them, how she dyes the fabric, how she's put together different things in different patterns, and just glorious. Oh, it isn't ignoring that thing that seemed like a quote unquote problem, but it is adding, it is looking at something else as well. What we do when we think we have a problem, when we think we have something that we've got to resolve in some way, whenever we see anything like that, we narrow in our focus. We go into tunnel vision rather than spaciousness. Now, allowance, being an interesting point of view, I have this point of view, opens up our viewing field, you could say. Opens up our ability to see different things. Our willingness to be that ease and relaxation that we're invited to in the meditation walk, for example, allows us to see beyond the targets, beyond the focus points, beyond the, I have to get there and then I will have accomplished something. I have to solve this problem, as my mother was saying, and then I would have accomplished something. Well, the problem is just something that looks like a problem right now, but what possibilities are tucked into it that we've never noticed, especially if we stop calling it a problem. And it's fascinating to me that when we expand, when we get present, when we allow that spaciousness to be, it's really our natural state. We are energy, we are space, and we are consciousness. We just tend to contract it and try to fit it into a body, a problem, a lifetime, a way of functioning, a thing I have to resolve, rather than being that ease and that spaciousness and that elegance and that phenomenon of us being and moving and functioning in the world. So when my mom was so fixated on a quote unquote problem, she couldn't appreciate anything beyond it. Even when she was shown these videos of these amazing ball gowns that this young woman was creating, she couldn't appreciate anything that was there because it didn't match the definition of problem that she had to solve. How often do we do that in our lives? How often do we perceive something that's somebody else's and we take it on as if it is something for us to solve, create this tense and intense problem that we must get over, that we must deal with, and everything else that's contributing, that could be generative, that could be so amazing, whether it's the way the blade of grass is moving beneath your feet as you're doing the meditation walk, or the breeze is coming past, or just the consciousness of the universe stepping into the space that you allow when you're not contracted and bringing in a new possibility into the world. What space are you not allowing yourself to be by holding on to this contraction, to this, I have to be laser focused and solve whatever it is that I perceive? Your perceptions are just perceptions. They're information that you have. So who does that, whatever that is, belong to? And what would it be like if you begin to acknowledge that you are perceiving rather than being all of those things? What else would be available if you'd be willing to recognize, to acknowledge, and to allow? That allowance is huge. When you don't have to do anything to solve anybody's stuff, so much more is available to you. It's really far more ease than you've ever allowed. We live in a world of multiple possibilities, but anytime we narrow the focus down into this is the way it is and it can only appear like this, we're the ones who are kinking the hose, you could say. We're the ones who are limiting what's available and what's possible just because we're holding on to a point of view. Who would you be without all those points of view? How much more would you be able to receive? How much more would you be able to actually enjoy? I mean, to me, I could still see that there may be something that we'd like to deal with or find another possibility for, but I don't have to hold on to it. I don't have to close off my life and living in order to deal with something that seems like a quote unquote problem. What possibilities are here that if I would actually expand, how much more ease and relaxation could I expand into that would allow things to come to me with ease and joy and glory? And that, by the way, is the mantra of Access Consciousness, which I love. And it is one of my go-to favorite things. If all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory, that's all of it. It's not just tunnel vision, just this one thing. And all of it, whatever it is, comes with ease and joy and glory. That means the moment it passes through me, it comes to my space, it's ease. I'm willing, I'm choosing to have ease with whatever comes, to have joy with whatever comes. My joy is not dependent on the outside weather or on what's going on in politics or anything else. I get to choose what works for me. So having the freedom of who does this belong to allows me to know, you know what? It ain't mine. Hi, Facebook user. It ain't mine. It ain't mine. It ain't mine. It ain't mine. 99.9999999%, 1,000% really, does not belong to us. And we are so aware that we try to take it on. But it's not ours. It's none of our beeswax, you could say, none of our business. And yet we keep trying to take it and make it real. And in taking something that's not ours and trying to make it real, that's not being an allowance. That's not being an interesting point of view. That's making that thing super relevant. And in trying to make it super relevant, we make it intense, we make it solid, we make it dense. Sounds like our lives, anybody? What if we chose different? What if we looked at it and went, cute, I'm not having that anymore. Thanks. Thank you. Bye-bye. Not required. I could let it go. 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 The truth of you is lightness. The truth of you is joy. The truth of you is spaciousness and relaxation and ease. And anywhere that's not where you're functioning from, who does that belong to? And what if you didn't hop into their universe and try to solve everything for them? What if you, being expansion, being willing to have ease, being willing to relax into being, invites more possibilities to the world? So what if the greatest gift that you could be is not jumping into somebody else's, poo pile and trying to fix it all, but inviting them into a clear, open, joyful possibility, into something entirely different, into something that will ease your world. In any situation, be it the holidays or any other time, if you recognize that you are not everything that you are aware of, that you are beyond all of those points of view, what else would be available? How much more are you going to enjoy your life and living? And what would your life and living be like if you would allow all of it to come with ease and joy and glory? So happy holidays, darling. And before we go, just because we can, Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here had asked for us to let go of anything and everything that we have created in any and all lifetimes that allows COVID to exist. So anything and everything that we've created, or that, okay, so creation's actually really interesting. Let me show you. All it takes in order to create a reality is two people to align and agree or resist and react to a point of view. So in order to sustain something, called this charging cable a reality, in order to sustain any sort of reality, you've got to have two people aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting in order to create that as a point of view. The moment one lets it go, it is not sustainable anymore. So how many realities, quote unquote, have you created that don't have anything to do with you? And how much of your energy are you using in maintaining what's not even relevant for you? So everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Again, that's the clearing statement. And anything that you've ever done by aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting or choosing or fighting or anything else that allows COVID, and through it, all the separation and all the other things that have been going on in this reality to exist, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion? Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What do you know that only you know, that if you'd allow yourself to know it, would change everything? What do you know? What could you tap into that if you'd allow yourself to have that knowing would actually shift what's available on the planet? Because you've got a lot more capacities, believe it or not, than you've ever imagined. There is also a bodyish process that Gary and Dane asked for us to rhyme. Gary and Dane are the co-creators of Access Consciousness. For anyone who's catching this for the first time going, who the heck are they? They're pretty awesome people. Go check them out. Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here. They also have their own websites. You can also find them and find their classes and everything on accessconsciousness.com. But one of the other things that they asked us to do was the communion of immunity. And to run this, immunity is something that we're speaking about a lot on the planet in these days. And what energy, what space, and what consciousness could we be? What choice could we be? What magic could we be? What miracles and mysteries and possibilities could we open up by being and by activating this communion of immunity? And we can run this on the entire planet. So expand yourself out, make yourself bigger, 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 bigger than you've ever imagined. So big that you are much bigger than the earth. And you can play with the earth in front of you like a ball, even. And let's ask for any energy that's going to contribute to our beautiful planet, that's going to contribute to ease for the plants, for the animals, for the people, for the planet, for the earth. What gift could we be? What contribution could we be? And one of the things that we could be, let's lower barriers. As we lower barriers, naturally we expand out. Keep lowering barriers, expand, expand, expand. Oh, yippee, that is such a yummy energy. And now let's run communion of immunity. So we're going to ask for anything and everything that's allowing this communion of immunity to run. And in this case, we activate it with something called a 5-9-11. So we are stopping the algorithms. We are letting go of techie paradigms and inviting them all to stop. Okay, so communion of immunity, 5-9-11, 5-9-11, 5-9-11, 5-9-11. Yeah, might seem a little strange to people, but we call it the access exercise system. Everything is energy, right? And there are certain energies that we've tapped into that shift and change what's available. When we do that, when we open up a different space, when we're willing to be the energy of a different space, there's a different possibility that's available in the world. And the really cool thing is it's not just for us. It's for everyone. It is the kingdom of we. The more we expand, the more we open up, the more the rest of the world is able to tap into and to have another possibility. So what gift are we that we haven't acknowledged by our being willing to be that space, that ease, that relaxation, that presence? And what else is possible beyond our wildest imaginings? So thank you for being here with me. I'm actually going to play with doing this every day this week and probably through to next, because this is really fun. I'm enjoying myself. So thank you for being here. Whenever you remember, just let go of all those things that you thought were you that aren't. Because a lot of those points of view are what have created limitations, not just for you, but for others too. Because remember, it takes two people to align and agree and create some semblance of reality. And there are so many realities running around here. So what beyond this reality, ease, joy, and glory can you be that would invite the world into greater possibilities? And with that, for today, signing off. Thanks. Bye-bye.